I'm going to direct my first question to the Chancellor. We've had a really robust conversation previously, and just wanted to continue on that conversation as we continue to see headlines that are sharing concern over Pennsylvania's state-related universities and their branch campuses. How are the PASSHE schools and you coordinating with other public universities on a plan forward as you look to right-size higher education in the Commonwealth?
We work closely with the community colleges. I can't say that we work closely with the state-related schools. At this point, the decisions that they're making or decisions that they have made are made independent of decisions that we've been making. Frankly, my personal opinion is we really need to change that because we're all competing for a shrinking demographic. We have many schools that are in very close proximity to one another, offering similar programs, and it's probably time for us to get together and take a look at that. The new State Board of Higher Education focuses on that and is involved in some of those discussions. We haven't really started anything substantive around that, but to your point, I think that there's a reality about demographics that we can't be competing for a shrinking pool and then nobody ends up with enough students to sustain an institution.
I really appreciate that response because from a taxpayer or a business perspective, we do have a shrinking customer base. We don't have as many students to pull up from those high schools as we once did in the mid to late 2000s. And couple that with students who are pursuing different paths than a traditional four-year college tract. And I think, you know, certainly this committee has been committed to making higher education more affordable for our students, but taxpayers are subsidizing both the state-related universities and the PASSHE system, and basically we're doing that to have you all compete against one another. So you've got a shrinking customer base, you have a shrinking student base, and taxpayers are being asked to send more money. As you know, we look at these numbers on your fall enrollment, and we continue to see an awful lot of red. And I think that's concerning. And look, I know that your predecessor was trying to make significant reforms, and I understand that it's tough to make significant reforms happen overnight. But for all of us up here, you know, how do we go back to our taxpayers, our constituents, and say that this continues to be a great investment? Because if it is a great investment, and I've said this previously to your predecessor, people vote with their feet, and we are not seeing that growth in enrollment. We are seeing a commitment from the General Assembly to hold down tuition costs for students, but we continue to lose those students.
If I may, we are graduating 21,000 students a year. 80% of them are taking their first jobs in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and 10 years later, 65% of them are still here. They've set up their lives and they're continuing to work. So while it's a shrinking number of students, there's still a significant benefit to the investment that the Commonwealth is making in the PASSHE institutions, because these are graduates who are graduating well prepared and they're available to take these jobs that are needed in the Commonwealth, whether it's businesses or healthcare facilities, hospitals. The students are here and they're graduating in significant numbers. So while we wish the declines weren't happening.
It really is wonderful. And full disclosure, my oldest was a graduate of a PASSHE school. You know, but when you look from 2010 to 2024, you see a 31% decrease in enrollment. So I think we need to, getting back to the start of our conversation, figure out how to right-size the entire higher education sector that's all being taxpayer subsidized, recognizing that you are our state schools. So I thank you for that.
Well, I think there's room for all of us, but we have to be more systematic about how we collaborate to offer opportunities for the students of the Commonwealth.
I completely agree.